Hi there. So in this video, I'll talk about one interesting thing, and this is, um, uh, let's say, when we want to talk in some meeting or in some kind of formal situation, or we have to give some opinion there. Some discussions is going on. Now we do not know what to say or whom to agree with, whom to disagree with. So we see this situation, see this problem actually in most cases if one is not expert in all of these things. So I mean, for us, kind of new in the meeting, and um, we have some problem in understanding the discussions, and sometimes we agree with some people who are not right. Sometimes we make this mistake. So this topic is, we can say, how can we agree with some logically uh, uh, correct opinion or establishment or statement, or how do we know who is telling the truth, who is not telling the truth, who is in the right path, who is not in the right path? How do we know? So there are there are three key ways, three important checklist that we can check to understand, like who is in the right path in the meeting when they are talking, or in some speech when they are talking anywhere. So these three rules is, first of all, number one, we can think, like, if somebody is talking, we have to see if he or she is saying the thing in some logically correct way. Logical, is there logic there? I mean, the way he or she is representing it, is there logic? Is it logically correct or not? If it fails in the logical sense, then basically we can just ignore it, and we can say this is not correct thing. Now there is so first thing is, is it logically correct? Is it logically presented? Is it logically presented? If it is illogical thing, basically we can ignore it. Uh, second thing is, we have to look at, is there any self is there any personal interest or some biasness of the presenter on the topic. For example, if anybody have some interest in something, then they will take the favor of that things, they will take in their favor, whereas where actually in some cases we have seen it, like someone is pushing on some topic because of his self-interest, personal benefits, and not because that is correct, or that is truth, or that is right for everybody. This is not true. So this is happening, when people have their personal bias and personal interest in some matter, they basically takes their side. So we have to see if they have personal bias or self-interest on that topic. Then we can say, okay, all right, he or she is saying it because he or she has personal bias or personal interest on that topic, and I should not vote yes to that all of a sudden. I have to understand it very clearly, more or less. So second thing is, we have to look at if he or she has some personal bias or self-interest on the issue, on the topic, or on the matter where the discussion is going on. And another filter is, last or third number filter is, we have to look at if there is any self contradiction in the presentation. In the whole presentation, if we see someone is arguing about some topic, and when he or she proceeds, then all of a sudden he just he or she brings something which contradicts with some other things that she said or he said previously. So if there is some self contradiction, then we can say, no, this is not going right. So these three things is actually really helpful when we try to understand someone's presentation, someone's logic, someone's argument, someone's uh, opinion presentation, or anything in any meeting. We can just sit and we can look at their presentation style and what they are saying, and all of these things, all of these three filters. If someone passes, then we can say they are actually with some they maybe they have some good reasons to talk, and maybe their opinion is for a collective growth of the system. So we can actually go through this basically by considering these three filters. So once again, recap the filter. The filter says, number one, if the whole thing is logically presented, then if there is some self bias or personal interest, and then if there is any self contradiction in the presentation or in the argument or in the discussion, then we can, if anybody passes, if anybody's opinion passes these three filters, then we can agree with that, we can talk about that, we will say that's a logically strong point that he or she is presenting if it passes these three filters. This is really useful actually, that's why I'm just I plan to make a video on that, so that I also remember this. This is really good, and it helps us to understand people or understand their opinion, and most importantly to stay safe in when we talk. Basically, let's say we are agreeing with some topic which is somebody have their personal interest on that, and we agreed, then later eventually the whole thing turned out like the thing is I'm just in some wrong side, not only wrong side, basically I just agreed in someone's personal interest, personal benefit meant I just helped to gain someone's personal interest instead of letting the whole system grow up and collective progress, collective growth. So yeah, these three filters helps us a lot when we really, and basically this takes time to master in these three filters, but when we have this in mind, suppose we think about that, then the whole thing actually starts working, and continuous practice makes it perfect, makes it better. The more and more we practice this, then we become better listener and better presenter, better people actually in general. Thank you very much, thanks for watching.